Today on the workbench, I've got a new project here. Of course, everybody knows who this is, Thomas the Tank Engine. And I kept seeing these, and my kids always liked Thomas, and I thought, well, why not? Of course, my kids are grown now, but I thought, well, I'll just get that and see what I can do with a DCC conversion. This is a Bachmann locomotive, and basically today I'm going to take it apart and see what we need for this, because I've never done one of these. So, of course, there are no operating lights on this, so I'll end up putting a couple LEDs in it. One up here in the front, one in the back, and hopefully I can find, I have looked online and I found a company that has I think it's a Loksound V5 file. So if I can use a small Loksound decoder, I can download that file from them. So let's go ahead and we'll start by taking this apart. I can find my screwdriver. Just got these 3 screws, and this is brand new right out of the box. I just got it out of the mail this morning. I did check it. It does run well on DC. So nothing like taking something brand new and just tearing it apart. So that's really all there is to that. I may end up cleaning part of that lube out. Let's see, what else do we have here? I'm going to pull this gearbox out. And I think the eyes on this move. I didn't check those. Yep. So the rear light won't be any problem. I'm hoping I can get most of this stuff up here in the cab. Real simple. There's the pickups for this thing. Help if I put it over here. Here's the pickups for the motor. Let's go ahead and pull this motor assembly out. Or motor and gearbox assembly, I guess I should say. That's kind of freakish looking, but anyway, we'll end up pulling this, I don't want to call it a capacitor, but what it's for noise. There's already, they must tighten those down too tight, because those are broke. Both of those tabs crack all the way through them. Really won't affect anything much, but they are broke right out of the box. So we'll pull this board out. Really nothing there that will be using. So we'll set the gearbox aside, and then we're going to pull the roof of the cab off. It's just got 4 little clips. You can see those. So that pulls that out. So now that we have everything out, kind of I'm hoping I can put a keep alive in this also. Seeing as how this is such a short wheelbase on this, and I believe, yeah, it looks like all 6 wheels pick up. So let's see, what can we do here? Yeah, I'm going to go ahead and cut this board off. We won't need that. I just want to see how this fits. See what kind of room we have. So it looks like back here in the back there is quite a bit of room. And of course it looks like there's quite a bit of room along the sides also. And then we've got, of course, then we've got room in the cab. So I think there's going to be plenty of room. Might be able to, I should be able to put a TCS KA4 right down there in the bottom, right in here. I don't think that'll be a problem. The speaker, might be able to put a speaker right along the back wall. Or I could put one right at one that fasten it to the top of the cab there. A sugar cube speaker. now just putting the decoder in. Okay. Well, let me get a few things here, and then we'll see what we can do. All right, I'll be back. All right, we're back here on our Thomas the Tank Engine, and I'm going to go ahead and put in an LED for the front light and one for the rear. So let's go ahead and pull this off. The other thing I'm going to do is I'll have to pull these copper tabs off because they come down here to the bottom, and that would be fine for DC because they hook right up to the motor. So we'll need to remove that so we can hook our wires from the decoder down into there. But first things first, we'll go ahead, and I've got these are, let's see, 403 LEDs, warm white LEDs. So we'll take and I'll drill a hole through that, and then I'll drill right down through there, and that way we'll be able to run our wire. And I'll have to run it back, back through this sill plate some way. Well, not through it, but to where we can't see it. It may not be too hard to do. I don't know. Anyway, the rear one will be fine. It will be easy to do because we can pull it, bring it right out into the center there. And I'm debating on, I think I'll take all of that silver out. So I don't need to drill that big of a hole. What do I have? I don't think that drill bit is not big enough. Yeah, that right there might work. I believe that's a 5/64 bit. Let me measure it. $110 thousandths. So 110 thousandths is, it's a number 34, number 35 bit. It's just right above 7/64. So if I use that, that would take out that entire silver. Let me go just a little bit smaller. So I hate to take all of it out. Alright. I think this is a 16th inch bit. So that's 0.07, 70 thousandths. Get my card out. Yeah, it's just a little bit bigger than a 16th. So let's go with it. And we'll go ahead and pull that gearbox out. Okay, so far so good. And that bit is dull. That bit is dull, even for plastic. So, I believe, let me check, I've got another one here. See what it is. That's just a little big. That's a little big. That one's just a touch smaller. Let me go through it with a little smaller one. My battery may be even getting ready to go dead. Right. So there's the one through the back. And I'll get those out a little bit here. Let's see now. Can I pull? Okay, it looks like this has 2 screws in it. I think these 2 will let me pull the wheels off. Yep. So get that off. Get some of this, some oil there. That cleaned off. That out of the way. So now, what I want to try to do is drill about halfway through this and then drill up from the bottom. I may have to go with a smaller bit. Let me see if I can. It's going to be a little off center. So I've got a hole drilled in it that you really can't see real well. Now I'm probably about halfway through. But now I want to get something smaller. So we'll lay that aside. I don't need these other bits here. I want to try to drill Trying to be really, really careful here. Trying to go at an angle. Trying to watch to see if I can see it come through. So far, so good. So I'm going to leave you here for a minute. I'm going to turn this off. I'll be back in a second. Okay, so about 10 seconds after I turned the camera off there, I made it through, and let's see, I don't know if you'll be able to. You might be able to see that in there. But it is through into the hole we made through the front. Now we can run our LED through there and through the back. And we'll be good to go. So let me get out two of these LEDs. And I got to twist them together, and then we'll run them down through the hole, and I'll be back again. Okay, so I've got these LEDs made up. Got them all twisted together. We'll go ahead, and you can see how tiny that is. Go ahead and get that up through. Of course, I may have to ream that out just a little bit. Yep. Well, I'm going to have to get a bigger bit. Alright, I'll be back. Okay. I've reamed that out a little bit. There we go. Now we're good. Now, I need 4 hands. I'll get my Bondic out. Actually, I want to put a little bit and I'm just making sure that I've got that in there as straight as I can before I put any UV light to that. Okay. Now I want to test it before I move on. So I'll get out my smart tweezers. Wow, talk about light bleed. Okay. We'll paint that. Put a little more on there just to make it seem like a lens. Okay. So we've got our front one in for what it's worth. And I want to put that through there. So really what needs to happen is this needs to come through here. But in a way that can't be seen. So at least we've got that in there. Now let's move on to the rear light. I'll just feed it through. Let me get my Bondic ready. We'll get that in there a little ways. Seemed like I just pushed that through, but I didn't. Okay. Oh, we're in good shape there. So let me test this one out. Helps if I turn the tweezers on. Okay. So that one works. I know you can't see that, but that one works and there's no bleed through on that one. So that one will be easy to work with. We'll take and put a little more back here on the back. Just to hold that in. Okay. So there's the lights. Now we'll have to solder a couple pieces of wire in there for my pickups, but I'll be back. Alright, we're back, and I had tested that front light, and I put that LED in there, and of course you saw the whole housing light up, so it bugged me. So I went in, I drilled the Bondic out of it, took the LED out, well, destroyed the LED getting it out, which is no big deal, but went in and I have painted the inside of the housing black. So I'm letting that dry, and after it dries I'll put another coat on it. But right now what I want to do is pull this cover off of this case, and I'll do that on top of here. I've put it on backward. No, it didn't. Yes, I did. Okay. So that way I can set that there when I pull these screws out. I'll be able to take this off. Let me pull this screw out. Pull this one out. That'll pull this bottom plate off. With the pickups. And so that normally sits in there like that. I'll be able to solder some connections right here. That way we won't have to worry about our wiring. And I'm just checking, so yeah, I need it right here. So let me go ahead and I'll put a little flux in here. I need to turn my soldering iron on. But I also need to get some wire, so I'll be back in a second. Okay, I've made it back. We'll go ahead and get this heated up and we can get our wire attached. Let's see, and of course I've placed those right over or right where the wheels sit. So let me alright. I don't want it where the wheels sit. I want it right between where the wheels sit. Now let's try that. Do it that way, it's easier. Well, it's easier if you have enough solder on there. Okay. Now, before I solder the wire to it, I'll get some alcohol here. And we'll clean it off. So we should be in pretty good shape. Let me make sure this fits. still good to go. So let's see. This would be the engineer side. So the engineer side is black. So the way we'll do this, let me move my alcohol before I knock it over. I just keep it in a little paint bottle. I'm going to get a pair of that way I can hold that. Okay. So there's that side. Okay. Now, run this down through. Okay. So there's that screw back in. We're good to go there with our movement. All right, then we'll pull this back off. And I'm going to put another little coat of paint in the light. Well, if I can get any on the brush. Okay, let me get a little piece of paper towel here. Okay. So now I've got 2 coats of paint in that. I can let that dry. Let that dry, get it out of the way, clean that paintbrush off. Okay, so we've got our wiring for our track pickups, rear light, front light. So I need to pull these off. The original pickups. And I probably could keep those, but yeah, I doubt I will. In fact, I know I won't. I just threw them in the trash. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut this capacitor off. Or it's not a capacitor. They use them for noise on these, but you don't use them with the DCC. So we'll go ahead and cut that off. And I can, actually I'll end up taking off this original wiring when I go to put the decoder in. So anyway, right now we're kind of at a standstill because I'm still waiting on the decoder to come in. And I did find a place online to get the a sound file. So right now it's kind of hurry up and wait. All right, we're as far as we can go right now. All right, we're back, and I've got, I believe, 3 coats of paint in that right there. I've got a new bulb I'm going to put in it. Should be just as simple as that. Alright, so I've got it in there. I want to see how much light bleed I get out of it now. That should have helped it tremendously. Well, if I can get my... Yep. You can't even tell that that light's on now, but it is. So, no light bleed. Alright. That'll make me feel better. So I'll get my Bondic out here. Get it ready. Get that trying to get the light kind of facing forward. I'll put that in first. We'll get it set. Then I can actually, let me test it again. Now, there's no good way to set this thing up on end. Okay. I can see it flashing there. So it is working. And there is no light bleed. Alright. Now, we'll put a little more on there to make a lens. And I put it on there. I count to 10 while I'm doing that. So I think that will do really well. And so what I'm going to do here to run this wire, I've made this little channel right here by this screw hole, and I can take and I've drilled a hole in there too. That'll get us up inside of the boiler. I'm going to put a little more, put some of this Bondic right here. And that'll keep me from pulling the bulb out, or pulling the wire out of the bulb. So I want to get this tucked in. Well, I'm going to sit here and fight with this thing, I guess. Let me take a little Bondic here. Actually, I'd like to get it back over in this corner. And then we'll have it run in there to where it shouldn't be seen. Okay, yep, that'll work. That will work really well. I'm just going to put a little more just in case I miss something. Okay. So there is our light. Now I'm going to check it again. Yep, we've still got light. So now I did notice that we do have some light bleed on the bottom, but I can take and put a dab of paint on that. That's no big deal. So now I've got the decoder here. So we'll start putting this thing back together. And that was, well, let's see. I know I'm staring right at my screwdriver and I can't see it. Okay, I'll be back in a minute. Okay, I found my screwdriver. Somehow it ended up on the floor. But we'll get these screws back in. Make sure our light still works. Put that channel in there, and I'm pretty sure it was deep enough. So our light does still work. So now we are to the point. How do I want to do this now? These wires, I'm going to be able to take them off and just run right out of the decoder. But this is all so tight. Let's see. Run all these wires up through the top. Be nice and simple if that was it, but we've kind of only just started here. And I guess I should have put this in. I'm going to go ahead and put the screws back in that. I think I can get in there to hook my wires in. And the other thing I've got to do is a speaker wire. I'd really like to put a keep alive in this thing. I'm not sure if I can or not. now I'm going to run all these wires back up through. So I want to set this shell back down on here. Need to get that wire, both of those wires, around to the side. So there I've got the red one where I need it. May have to, yeah, I'm going to have to do something to get the wires out of the way. Probably have to make a little channel back here so I can bring them up through. Because I can't bring it right there. So let me think about that for a minute. Alright, we're back, and so what I did it off camera to get the wires from the pickups down in here. I took a Dremel and made a channel. I don't know if you can see that or not, but there's a channel right there that goes through there, and then I drilled a hole on each side to bring my track pickup wires through. So now that we have that, I think what I want to do is I'm going to take these heavy wires, the original wires, off, turn my soldering iron on, and I'm going to go ahead and attach the decoder to it. So this is a ESU V5 micro, So I'll need my orange and gray. And I can probably, well, to do that, let me, because this is basically all going to sit right in here. So I'm going to pull this out. And I'm going to make these two motor connections right now. That way I'll be able to sit this back in where it goes, or the body on. But I want to get this done. So let's see, we're up to temperature. Let's go ahead and pull these wires off. So there's my gray off. Might as well pull this one off too. Okay. So gray is the bottom. Clean that off a little bit. Get a little bit of flux here. And then I can take and I'll end up cutting some more of these. Well, let's just cut these wires off right now. What I don't need. Let's see, the two brown are the speaker, so I'll need those. I need the blue. I don't need this purple wire. So I'm going to cut it off kind of short here. Don't need that. I don't need this green. I need the yellow and the white. I need that's the red and black. Okay, so really I just don't need those two wires. Alright. Now, the bad thing, if I want to put a keep alive on this, it goes right here on the side. I believe it's these three terminals. I may have that wrong. Anyway, one of the three terminals, or these three terminals on one side of it, is where the keep alive would hook up to this. So I may put some wires on it just in case, but I'll have to pull this heat shrink off. But I wish this thing wasn't so tight a fit. Oh well. And I'm going to trim these down. We'll cut them in about half. Okay, there's those. So there's those two wires. I'm really debating now on that keep alive. We'll see what kind of room I have here in a minute. Okay, so that's that. We have all kind of wires sticking out of this thing in a minute. Let's go ahead. Yeah, I'm going to cut this off. I can attach my leads. Let's see. I'm going to have to put resistors in that, I believe. Let me get out the wiring diagram. V5 micro. Alright, I'll be back in a minute. Okay, I am going to have to put a resistor in here, so I'll put 1,000 ohm resistor, maybe a 2,000. But I'm going to take and cut this plastic off of this board. That way I can remove some of these wires that I won't need. Let's see. I'll get out a set of scissors here, or shears. Well, actually, yeah, my X-Acto knife. I should have cut that off before I put it in there. Okay, so I've just cut a little piece off there, and now I can unplug that, because that's just an Nex 18 connector. So I do have the wires off, what I need. Alright, let me get out. So now I can pull, because I'm not going to use this purple wire, instead of having it just laying there. Can pull it completely off. In the same way with this green wire. That way we won't have to worry about anything shorting out. So now that we've got that, I am going to put this body back on here, and we'll, oh wait a minute, let's see. Yeah, I'll put this back on, and then we can put our resistors in. And then we can continue on. Get in there. Evidently I should have made these a lot longer. So there's that. I want to make sure that I've got okay. I think for right now we're good everywhere. Put a couple of screws back in this. And oh. Okay, so we may end up changing something here in a minute, but I want to get this in here. Because that roof actually screws in. Oh no, it doesn't. Never mind. The two screws that go in that are for the old board that was in it. And I don't need the old board. So, okay. So now we start our process of wiring everything up. So right now I'm going to do track pickups. So I'm going to turn this over on its side. So that I can hold on to my board. Well, I really ought to get those. I need to get these light wires out of the way. Okay. Cut them off right there. And then I can strip this. And tin it. A little bit of flux. We still got to worry about our speaker yet, which that won't be any big deal. I say that. There's that one. That one. Now, so I'm going to pull I need a good way to hold this thing. Alright, so I'm going to pull these two wires off here and then hook my new wires up. So I'm going to have to do that off camera, I think, because I'm going to have to get my magnifier out. So I'll be back. Alright, so I cut my wires off and I put the board back on. I've got the lights hooked up. I put 1,000 ohm resistors in this, and it does work so far. The only thing I've got left to do is to put the speaker on. Of course, the lights, they're just, you know, like I normally do lights. The resistors are on the white and yellow leads, the negatives. And I do think I have room for the power pack. So let's get this speaker in. This is it's a TDS speaker from Tony's Trains, and I've put them in other things before, but I think what we'll end up doing with this, it will, how do I want to put it? I could put it right here. That might be the best thing to do. And I can still have room to get that decoder in. So I want to get out the power pack and hook it up before I do anything, because I'm going to have to, I think, pull some more of this heat shrink off. And we'll go ahead and just pull that off right now. So, but so far it works, and I'm running out of video card, so I'm not going to really show any more of the, how do I want to do this? I can put that right there. I'll put double-sided tape on that to hold it down. And then the power pack can go in the back there. Now, the thing about that is the sound. I'm not sure how this will sound, because there's not going to be a lot of openings for the sound to get out. So, I mean, it should be fine, but we're gonna move on. Oh, I told you wrong. This is actually a Soundtraxx speaker. I do have some TDS speakers, but anyway. All right. I might as well. How do I want to do that? Because I'm trying to keep my wires as short as possible, but as long. That way I'll have some room to maneuver around with things. I'll give myself that extra 1/4 of an inch. Okay. So we'll get these put on. Let's see. Go ahead and fly. I may get a different speaker. I do have some TDS ones. Alright, I'm going to get the power pack and then probably a different speaker. I will return. Alright, so I have checked it out, and I do have enough room to put the ESU Power Pack in here, which I think will be great because the short, you know, wheelbase on this thing, the pickup might not be real good. But anyway, so to put this in, and I should have already went ahead and done this. go ahead and just a little bit of flux on those pads, and then we can get this thing hooked up. Need something to rest my hand on. Well, all right, I've got these ready to go. So there's my black. My white. And the red. So hopefully you can see how I've got that hooked. Okay. Now, like I say, I'm running out of video card. I'm going to check this real quick. Okay. We're all good on that. So now I want to, I didn't have a Tds speaker, so I'm going to use that Soundtraxx speaker. Well, I did have some Tds speakers, but they were all too big for this. So there, everything is hooked up. Now all I got to do is put it all together, and let's see, let me get some alcohol here. We'll kind of clean this off. We'll clean the bottom of that off, because that's where I'm going to put the double-sided tape. I'll go ahead and let me zoom out. So there's that. And we'll go ahead and I think put some double-sided tape down in here for the keep alive. So I'm going to do all that off camera, and then I'll be back. Alright, I do have it together. I do have the power pack in there. Here's the board. I've got all my wires tucked in there. Got the speaker. Everything does work. I tested it. So now all I got to do is just put the cab back on. And yep. I've got a wire or something in the way here. Plenty of room there. Oh, I see what it is. Okay. These where the old board was, I'm going to cut them off. So I'll be back here in a minute because I don't need them now, so I'm going to cut them off. Okay, so I've cut these little nubs off. Now we should be able to, yep, fits right down on there. All right. So this project is completed. That is challenges, but it is complete. I will get a sound file for this, so we'll have to wait on that. And all right, next time you see this, it'll be up on the test track. All right, we're back up on the test stand here on the turntable now. And I've got this all back together. Of course, it's really simple on the functions. We have a front light there, which you can see. And it really doesn't look that bright. Of course, we're looking at it at an angle. And I do have it set down. The value in the LED set down. But it is brighter than you'd think. I had to paint the inside of the light housing. Had to paint it black, which you saw in there. So that's the light. And I'm not going to play all the sounds that this has because it plays the theme song from Thomas while it's in motion. And I don't want to do that because of copyright infringement. So we'll blow the whistle. Let's see. So it has a single peep. Then it has a double peep. And we've got the 3. Let's see, what else is there?
Bust my buffers. Cinders and ashes.
Fizzling fireboxes.
That's shoveling coal. Let's see. That's birds. I don't know if you can hear that or not. And that's really about it. So I mean, it's nothing too special, but it does make for a nice little runner. And I do have an Annie and Clarabelle that I can put on that. I'll be able to take that to the club and run it around, but I just thought that would be kind of neat to do. So, and with that program too, if you could put a smoke unit in this so it would smoke, but that would be really tight to go in there. So, all right, thanks for watching.